Right then, Brentford up next for West Ham. It's time to get what a Brentford fan thinks ahead of the fixture. Tom, welcome back. It must be like your fourth or fifth appearance or something on the channel.
Thanks for having me back.
You're the only Brentford fan I know. It's slim pickings. But thank you. You only need to know one when they're as good as you are, Tom. Right, your season so far, what are you thinking?
So far, so good. I mean, it's obviously the start of our season was, the fixture from a fixtures point of view, 6 points from Palace and Southampton, which I think from Southampton was expected, but Palace was sort of, how are Palace going to come out and perform this year? So 3 points against them is fine. We won't talk about the disallowed Eze free kick. And then obviously Liverpool away, City away, and Spurs away. You can't really complain when you walk away with 0 points from those 3 games. Obviously scoring after 22 seconds in against City and Spurs as well, at least gives you a bit of optimism going into the rest of the game. And so not too bad. On par, I'd say.
Well, you haven't scored after 2 minutes on Saturday. You'd be good, oi, what's going on here?
Exactly, absolutely.
To be fair, if you haven't scored after 2 minutes on Saturday, we'll be going, get him. We've managed to get 2 minutes without conceding a goal. We're doing all right. I like context. What's your expectations for Brentford this season?
I think better than what other people think of us, if that makes sense. Last year was obviously, the squad was just ravaged by injuries, and I think it's something that we don't really get much coverage compared to some of the large teams. So I think a lot of people were talking about obviously Newcastle, and obviously their entire squad was destroyed. And I think from actual lost minutes from first team players, I think Brentford was actually the worst in the whole of the Premier League. And so we finished where we finished, but I think there was a lot more optimism from Brentford fans saying, well, we've got this player to come back, this player to come back, this player to come back. We've started the season and we've had pretty much the same, where there's been a lot of injuries to a lot of first team players. So I think for the weekend, we'll have at least 6 first team players out. I mean, 2 long-term ones, so it's not really sort of a shock on that side of things. But yeah, we are still missing important players, obviously.
So what are you expecting at the end of the season then, in terms of league position? Are you thinking just, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but stay away from a relegation battle? Is it half football?
I think the fight for mid-table, really. I think it's trying to be sort of best of the rest again, really. So where we were a few years ago, obviously finished 8th, and I think that was well above expectation. But if we can finish anywhere around about sort of top bottom half, so you're sort of 11th, 10th, 12th, 11th place, I'd be pretty happy. I mean, anything above 12th, and you've got to be, especially from where we were last season, you've got to be happy from that. So hopefully around there.
What's your ambitions in terms of like the long term of Brentford? Because I often wonder that sides like Brentford, and right up until the last year or so as well, in Crystal Palace, and it's like you almost feel as a neutral that their ambition is just to remain in the Premier League. And I always think there's got to be more than that. There has to be something else. You can't just every season just want to stay in the league, Surely there's got to be an ambition that you go win a trophy, or you start spending a bit more money, bringing in better quality players, and then either the football improves or the results improve. Because it just feels like if that's all you're going to do every season, just stay in the Premier League, eventually you're going to go back down, but just almost through law of averages, if anything. That's it. So what's your sort of long-term ambition with Brentford?
I think, this season's the first season where I've been sort of impressed by the club's sort of spending and ambition. So I think we've spent just short of 100 million this year, which sort of, I mean, if you compare it to any other transfer window in Brentford's history, you've pretty much blown it out of the water. And so you can see there's the ambition there. And Phil Giles, who's the director of football, came out after the transfer window. He always does this really nice report, which sort of explains why they purchase certain players and what the ambitions are, basically. And his entire sort of summation of, I guess, of the transfer window, which was obviously Igor Thiago from Club Bruges, Cavallo from obviously Liverpool, Sepp van den Berg from Liverpool, and a youngster from Grêmio called Gustavo Nunes. He said basically it's all about future-proofing the club and getting us to the next step, really. I think reading between the lines, I think our next step really is trying to get that sort of that final European place. The fact that there's now so many European places as well. If we finished 8th,
you're right. You're right.
We did previously, the chance of us now getting there is sort of, even if it's a Conference League, Brentford going away in Europe would be a pretty monumental thing. I guess you can compare us sort of. I guess I'd say. I mean, we always get compared to Brighton, but I guess it's sort of we're maybe a couple of seasons behind where Brighton could be. So they hit European football. Yes, they sort of obviously dropped back last season, but obviously doing well again this season. If we can sort of replicate that slightly and try and do a similar style of that, I think trying to get that sort of European place would be great. Obviously, challenging for a cup would be fantastic. We've done pretty well in the Carabao Cup so far. We're into the fourth round. We've got a good draw against Sheffield Wednesday. So it's just as it gets deeper into that competition, it's the clubs that are in it start to take a bit more seriously. So Pep coming out and saying, "Oh, I'm just going to field a second team in the next round." But then if they get through that round and then looking at sort of quarterfinals, semi-finals, you go, well, he's going to take it slightly more seriously than that at that point. So, I guess it's can we beat those teams on the day, as all cups are. So, but that would be nice.
Yeah, I think as a neutral, as a West Ham fan, I'm pissed off that we went out of the cup, because when the cups come around, I get excited. That's what exactly. I want to see us win it. But now we're out, and I saw the draw, and obviously you're looking at Liverpool, who knocked us out, going, who did they get? Who would we have had? It was Brighton away. I thought, actually, that was quite a difficult picture. Fair enough, right? It wasn't a home to Stoke or anything. But when I saw yours away to Sheffield Wednesday, I thought, do you know what? You've got to fancy Brentford for that. And then suddenly you're into the latter stages of the competition. You will need a little bit of luck. You will need a little bit of luck. If you beat Sheffield Wednesday, you need to stay away from some of the other clubs. But there will also be other clubs, like Southampton are playing Stoke. I'd fancy you to beat the winner of that tie, regardless of which one it was. I'd fancy Brentford against them as well. And as a neutral, I just sort of think, go on. I just want someone else to win it. And I'm bored of watching Man City pick it up. It's almost like their backup trophy. It's like, this prevents it being a disastrous season if we've won something. And it means so little to some of these teams now. Whereas to West Ham and Brentford, it would mean the world, in 20 years' time. I'm not sure a Liverpool fan is going to be speaking about. Remember when we won the Carabao Cup in 2023? It was really good, weren't it? But a Brentford fan, do you remember when? Yeah, it was the best day of my life and stuff. So do you think you could go on and win it? I know you might, like I said, you need a bit of luck.
Yeah. But I think it's one of those, for me, where we've shown over the last few seasons that on our day we can beat sort of anyone in the Premier League. I mean, obviously we did double over Man City a couple of seasons ago, so which I'll never forget that one. So yeah, there's always. I mean, as long as you're in it, you've got a chance of winning it. If the draw continues to be kind to us as it has been, throughout so far, then there's every possibility. But I think if you can get in the further stages and then play against a team like a Liverpool or City when they've got other, they're looking at the Champions League and they're having to play sort of second string teams, and that's when you have your opportunity. So while we're in it, there's always a possibility, but I'm not. It's not one of those I'm sitting here at the moment going, oh, we could win the EFL Cup at the moment. So.
Well, I genuinely hope you do. I mean, you beat Sheffield Wednesday. You're into the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup. And
it's not bad.
One game away from a two-legged semi-final. I know your manager's one of those that doesn't like the extra fixtures, but I'm not sure he'd complain too much when maybe if it's the semi-final, he might, I'm okay with the extra fixtures. I'll put up with these ones. In regards to the players currently at Brentford, not the injured ones, which players are in form and should West Ham fans keep an eye out for on Saturday?
I mean, of course, Brian Bomo's been electric at the start of the season. I mean, a fantastic volley against Spurs. As we mentioned, after 22 seconds the other day, I mean, he just looks really, really on it. Past him, I think the team's, someone who's sort of stood out, I'd say, for me. Keane Lewis-Potter's looked really good. They've played him in this sort of hybrid, like left wing back, left wing position. He's been used against sort of the larger teams. So he played against Liverpool, City, and Spurs. Didn't play against Southampton or Palace on the first day. So I'm not sure if he's even going to be in the team this weekend. He'll definitely play a part. He'll definitely either come on, or if he does start, he'll be involved. He's been fantastic. I mean, he's actually been so much better. He's slowly becoming the player we thought he was going to be. I think last season was a bit of a lull, really, but as he came in towards the end of the season, as we had more injuries, he started to look better and better and better. He's continued that this season and looks really good. And then the one that I'd say most impressed with, I guess then the two at the back, really, which I was going to say just the one, but both have been great. Nathan Collins, has been really good. When he joined last year, just was a little bit dodgy. Didn't really seem to be right there. Again, because we had so many injuries, he was in centre back pairings with Ben Mee at points, with Ethan Pinnock, and he was being chopped and changed all the time, and there was no consistency. First 5 games, he's been probably one of our best players. I know we've conceded in all the games so far, but he's been pretty solid throughout. And then Mark Flecken had an absolute stinker of a season last year after we signed this goalkeeper who's going to be the David Raya replacement. He was obviously 2-time Bundesliga Golden Glove winner, so everyone was like, okay, this is great. You look at his stats and it's okay, he's fantastic with his feet as well. So we're like, okay, this is a good signing. Had a really bad season with just letting in bad goals and bad chances. But he's been excellent. Hasn't really put a foot wrong. The mistake, the goals that we have conceded, I'd say, are more mistakes at the back where we've given the ball away, where we're trying to be a bit more progressive, playing from the back, and sort of ball's been given away and he stood no opportunity with a one-on-one. But other than that, some of the saves he's made have been excellent.
I'm glad you said that, because when we did our preview, I said I feel like Frank has changed up a little bit for you this season defensively, and you are trying to play out from the back a little bit more. And listen, I feel like I've seen a lot of you this season already. I don't know, you've just been on TV loads or something.
Yeah, we have.
You still don't mind the long ball, but I do feel like there is more intention from you to play out from the back, which is not something I've always attributed to Brentford. It's funny, out the 4 players you picked out there, 3 of them were sort of slow burn signings, weren't they? Where they came in, didn't hit the ground running. And I know he had a horrific injury, but Shada could become one of those players as well who he's looked okay. I thought he looked good against Spurs though when he came on. I was quite impressed by him then. So it's a big season for him. Moving on from your team to my team, what do you make of West Ham?
It's not been the best of starts, has it, for you guys? I think it's one of those where obviously a lot of people are talking about defensively you're not looking fantastic. Interesting that obviously, so I watched, I think it was the last game, obviously, where you played Rodriguez and Alvarez together in midfield, and then obviously Rodriguez came off just before halftime, didn't he?
Yeah.
He seems like a very good player, but he seems like a really similar mold to Alvarez. And it's almost like maybe one or the other should be playing rather than both at the same time. But I guess with the new manager and obviously with what he wants to do, it's going to take time to implement his style rather than. So I wasn't expecting you guys to sort of burst out the gate and smash everyone, because obviously I don't know what you guys think, but I guess with Lopetegui coming in, you go, oh, that's a good manager coming in. He's going to do, he's going to come straight in and do things for your club, but I guess it's one of those where he has to build. I guess the players are so used to what David Moyes has done for over several years that you can't just change it overnight. So I guess for you guys, not the best start, but I can see it obviously improving, because I think he is an excellent manager, as proven through a lot of the places he's been at.
What do you expect from West Ham then? If we fast forward to May, you're picking up the newspaper. Not that anyone does that these days, but you're picking up the newspaper. League table, played 38. Where are West Ham in that league table? I
mean, my assumption would be you've got to be with the signings. Because when I was going through the transfer window, I was looking at the signings you're picking up, and I was like, wow, there's some real intention here. My initial thoughts were you guys would be sort of lower top half, so sort of your 8th, 9th, 10th, potentially pushing towards the sort of European places. Whether you make it there. I guess it all depends now on, obviously, since the start, if you start to get the ball rolling. But that's always was my thoughts. I mean, some of the signs you guys made, I was looking at them going, wow, this is this is ridiculous. Sometimes I was actually thinking about it compared to my team. I'm like, how are we meant to compete when you've got like West Ham who are buying these great
you spent 100 million. It's not like
I know, but I think because I think we were in for was it Rodriguez as well? There was someone else that you guys have signed, but I can't remember who it was. There was talk that we were going for him as well, and it was like, no, he's signed for West Ham. We were like, well, yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, no, I imagine, yeah, you'll be up there. I think it will all click. It all come together, because I do really like him as a manager.
Well, you got Keane Lewis Potter over us. In fairness, that was someone we were after when you signed him. Saturday, how do you see it going then?
I think there's going to be quite a lot of goals. I think attackingly we've been excellent. To be fair, I think at the time being currently where you guys are and where we are, I think we will edge it on the day. But I can see there being a lot of goals there. We've had, I think, where we're sitting in the table compared to who we've played is a perfect level, really. You know, we've expected to lose who we've sort of lost against, we've expected to win against who we've beaten. I think you guys have had a mixture of results, really. And I think us being at home as well gives us a bit of advantage because our home form so far this season, I know obviously we're only a few games into it, but looks like it's picked up previously where we were very, very good at home.
Right, goals and a Brentford win. So I want a score line from you, Tom. Get your crystal ball out. I mean, you're kind of limited here. There's only so many scores you can go for.
No.
Which one are you going for?
I think it could be something really silly. I think like something like 3-2 wouldn't be anywhere. I mean, because we're going to concede goals.
It was that last season, weren't it? There was
exactly, absolutely. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Loads of goals last season. Because we were 2-1 up. Caduce's bicycle kick, and then Antonio missed from a yard out.
Yeah.
Open goal, and you went on to beat us. But so anyway, it could be repeating itself. Hopefully not. But Tom, thank you so much. If you guys would like to hear and see more from Tom, the link to his social media profiles are in the description below. If you've enjoyed this video, though, please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up, subscribe to Hammers Chat. And Tom, I'll probably see you for the 6th time for the reverse fixture later on in the season. But thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.